Good afternoon on this rainy Tuesday. I hope you've had a great Memorial Day time together with your family, and thank you for joining me today on The View at noon. Brother Charles, and again, I'm blessed to be here on staff at Fairview, especially during this time. It's been such a unique experience and a growing experience for all of us, and we're just thankful for things being able to change a little bit, maybe get back to a new normal in the coming weeks. I want to give you some updates on the family. It's unique during this time that I'm just amazed by my kids and how different each one of them are in their actions and reactions, and that we have not gone to too many physical confrontations, but yet they still have fun together. And so it's been a blessing to see them as siblings carry on and have good times and laughing times, as well as with mom and dad doing the same thing during our time together. We've got a birthday coming up. Tomorrow is Whitman's birthday. He'll be 9 years old, and we'll be having a small gathering of under 20 folks, probably way under 20, at our house to celebrate that time, and then we'll be heading off to Montgomery to see some grandparents and do some birthday time with them as well. One thing that's kept our attention at the house a lot is a nesting. We have had birds for the last many years that have built a nest and had babies right on the top of a post in the corner. And this year we had repainted the porch, and it was looking all nice, and they just come in and do their thing, and they make a nest out of mud. So we had put some things up there, particularly as a Diet Coke bottle up at the top of the corner. And through the determination of this mom and this group of birds, they built a nest on top of that. And so we noticed the other day that there are eggs in there, so we will let these hatch, this, I guess, litter or batch, whatever you may call little birds, and then try to do our best at remedying this problem of them coming in every. But it's neat to see them come in and how they even protect the nest and protect those babies when they're born. Wanted to share a little bit today, just some things, even from Brother Breck's message, that really had our family in conversation afterwards and thinking about the things that he spoke about when he shared from Scripture. Particularly, I love seeing the picture of the disciples. The disciples look like me. Maybe they look like you a little bit as well. You know, young in their faith, trying to figure this out, trying to learn how to walk, the questions they ask, the things that they go through. In a way, there's some dysfunction there, and they're growing. They have moments of rejoicing and the victories they have with Jesus. And also, they have their doubt. In those things, I see a little bit of me. I see their growing faith and what they're experiencing. They have their aha moments as well. And I'm sure in your faith walk, you've experienced those as well. And I hope in true disciple fashion that we can finish strong like they do. So the conversation after Brother Breck's message, he had talked about the transfiguration and sharing in from Luke of what was shared about Peter, specifically Peter being there and his efforts and what he wanted to do in building the tents, Moses and Elijah there with Jesus. And the fact that it was days before they were headed to Jerusalem. So after the message and after church time was over, I talked with the kids. I said, hey, look what Peter did. This is Peter. And we talked about a few of the things that he did. He was there at this time of the transfiguration. He was there for miracles. You know, he had to be one of those guys at the feeding of the thousands, and when he's picking up the baskets full of food and looking at his other disciple friends and saying, what is going on? What has happened? Look at all this food we're picking up. He was there for healings. And he was there for Jesus' teachings and his experience and his interactions with people. Yet the question I brought up to the kids was, what did he do? Jesus predicted something, and what did he do that Jesus predicted? And they said he denied him. He denied him. He had a stumbling block. He had a big stumble in his faith walk. But yet Jesus would even use that. Jesus said, you will deny me 3 times. And then after Jesus was resurrected, Jesus asked Peter 3 times, Peter, do you love me? Peter, do you love me? And he restored him in that way. Peter struggled with his faithfulness. You know, even the moment in the boat on the Sea of Galilee, there was a storm. And they woke Jesus in a panic, saying, don't you care that we're going to die, that this is happening? And I always remember this verse by going King James, O ye of little faith, of you of little faith. And these are guys who had interactions in their time with Christ and witnessing what he had done. So they grew through these times. They grew through their struggles, the times where they doubted. You know, we have the story of Thomas in John chapter 20. Starting in verse 29, Thomas had doubted and said, until I can touch his hands and put my hand in his side, I will not believe. And then Jesus appeared to them, starting about 26, and they were about a week later, they were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, peace be with you. Then he said to Thomas, put your fingers here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe. And then Thomas said to him, he said, my Lord and my God. And Jesus told him, to Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen me and yet have believed. I talked about that truth with my kids about it is more blessed. We have not seen Jesus in person like the disciples of his interactions, his healings, but he's telling us we're even more blessed that we believe and are faithful because we have not seen it. We trust. We put more faith and trust. We probably have more faith and trust than they did. It tells us in 30 and 31 that Jesus did other miraculous signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. One thing I've noticed about our time, even in the family of faith, that the tragedies have still continued during this time, both locally and personally with friends of ours in Alabama. Difficult news from the doctor, it has still come, and it still may come to us. And at the same time, we still have celebrations of new birth, new babies, the excitement that brings to a young family and the extended family. And then we still have our celebrations for our graduates in our own unique and different ways and creative ways that we've done that. We're remembering those things. And for me in this time, I'm reminded a lot of this broken world. As Christians, we know sin. We know what personal sin means. But in this time of pandemic, we get to see what sin affected the world, that the world is broken, that with nature it's broken, that in disease that's a sign of sin and the brokenness in our world. Yet at the same time, we have to hold on to the truth that we know about Jesus, that blessed are us who have not seen yet still believe. Let him continue to find us faithful. both the Fairview family and through our Columbus network of faith family and other churches. Let him continue to find us faithful in our walk during these days. I appreciate you spending this brief time with me today, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.